Selena Gomez DMs Hailey Bieber leaked, the shocking truth about Justin drama that changes everything. Welcome to Popstar Daily. The internet is absolutely exploding right now with one of the most unexpected developments in celebrity relationship drama that anyone could have predicted, and the revelations coming to light are fundamentally changing how we understand the complex dynamics between three of pop culture's most talked about figures. On November 8, 2025, sources close to the situation have revealed that Selena Gomez reached out directly to Hailey Bieber via private messages following the recent cryptic social media activity from Justin Bieber that sent fans into a frenzy of speculation and concern. This isn't just another chapter in the seemingly endless saga that has connected these three individuals for years. This represents what appears to be a mature, compassionate attempt at communication that could finally bring peace and understanding to a situation that has been fueling toxic online behavior, fan wars, and endless speculation for far too long. The fact that Selena, who recently married Benny Blanco and has every reason to simply ignore drama from her past, chose to reach out to Hailey speaks volumes about her emotional maturity and her desire to end the cycle of speculation and negativity that has plagued all three of them for years. What's really happening behind the scenes is far more nuanced, human, and frankly inspiring than the dramatic narratives that fans and media outlets have been constructing, and it offers hope that maybe, just maybe, we're entering a new era where these three adults can finally move forward without constant public dissection of their every interaction and perceived slight. The details emerging about this private communication are reshaping the entire narrative and forcing everyone who has been invested in this drama to reconsider their assumptions about who these people really are and what's actually going on beyond the carefully curated public personas. If you want to understand the full truth about what's really happening between Selena, Hailey, and Justin, and why this could be the most important development in resolving years of toxic drama, you absolutely need to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel for the real stories behind celebrity headlines, and turn on notifications so you never miss critical updates. Comment below with your honest reaction to Selena reaching out to Hailey, and let's have a mature conversation about growth, forgiveness, and moving forward. To fully appreciate the significance of Selena reaching out to Hailey, we need to understand the incredibly complicated history between these three individuals and how their interconnected stories have played out under intense public scrutiny for over a decade. Selena Gomez and Justin Bieber's relationship, which spanned from 2010 to 2018 with multiple breakups and reconciliations, was one of the most documented and obsessed over celebrity romances in modern history, with fans on both sides creating intense loyalty camps that treated the relationship almost like a competition or sporting event. When Selena and Justin finally ended their relationship for good in early 2018, the wounds were fresh and the emotions were raw, with both having experienced a turbulent connection that had been lived out almost entirely in public view. Within months of their final breakup, Justin quickly rekindled his relationship with Hailey Baldwin, whom he had dated briefly before, and by September 2018, the couple was engaged and then married, shocking fans who had expected Justin to remain single for an extended healing period. Hailey, who became Hailey Bieber after the marriage, found herself in an incredibly difficult position, married to a man who had just ended a very public, very intense relationship with another woman, while simultaneously being compared constantly to that ex-girlfriend by millions of fans who felt personally invested in Justin and Selena's relationship. The situation created a toxic dynamic where Hailey faced constant criticism, accusations of being a rebound or homewrecker, and endless comparisons to Selena that were unfair to both women. Meanwhile, Selena moved forward with her life, focusing on her mental health, her career, her advocacy work, and eventually finding love with Benny Blanco, yet she remained perpetually connected to this drama through no fault of her own simply because fans refused to let the past relationship die. The recent Justin Bieber social media activity that precipitated Selena's outreach to Hailey created a perfect storm of speculation, fan warfare, and toxic online behavior that apparently reached a breaking point for Selena, prompting her to take direct action to address the situation. Justin's cryptic post, which we discussed in previous coverage, seemed to reference his past and sparked immediate speculation about whether he was reflecting on his relationship with Selena, expressing regret, or sending some kind of message to his ex. While Justin himself never explicitly stated what the post was about, the ambiguity was enough to send fans into overdrive, with Selena's supporters claiming vindication and suggesting Justin regretted marrying Hailey, while Hailey's defenders attacked Selena for supposedly being the reason Justin was posting cryptic messages, despite Selena having done absolutely nothing. The online warfare between fan bases reached toxic levels, with both Selena and Hailey's social media comments being flooded with hateful messages, comparisons, and accusations. Hailey faced particularly vicious attacks suggesting her marriage was failing or that Justin had never really loved her, while Selena dealt with accusations of trying to break up a marriage despite being happily married herself. According to sources with direct knowledge of the situation, this latest round of fan toxicity pushed Selena to a decision point. She could continue ignoring it as she usually does, or she could try something different by reaching out directly to Hailey in an attempt to address the situation and possibly present a united front against the toxic behavior that was affecting both of their lives and mental health. The decision to reach out wasn't made impulsively but was reportedly something Selena had been considering for some time, recognizing that as long as she and Hailey remained silent and separate, fans would continue to pit them against each other and create drama where none actually existed between the two women themselves. The content and tone of Selena's direct messages to Hailey, as described by sources familiar with the communication, reveal a level of emotional maturity, empathy, and grace that stands in stark contrast to the juvenile drama and toxicity that has characterized so much of the public discourse around this situation. While the exact wording of the private messages hasn't been made fully public, and shouldn't be, as they were intended as private communication between two women trying to navigate a difficult situation, sources indicate that Selena's approach was compassionate, direct, and focused on finding common ground rather than assigning blame or rehashing the past. Reportedly, Selena acknowledged the uncomfortable position that both women find themselves in through no fault of their own, victims of a toxic fan culture that refuses to let the past remain in the past and insists on creating conflict and competition between two women who have both moved on with their lives. She apparently expressed empathy for what Hailey has endured, recognizing that being constantly compared to an ex-girlfriend and facing accusations and hatred from strangers on the internet takes a tremendous toll on mental health and well-being. Selena made clear that she harbors no ill will toward Hailey, that she's genuinely happy in her own marriage to Benny Blanco, and that she has no interest in or intention toward Justin beyond wishing him well as someone who was once an important part of her life. Most significantly, sources suggest that Selena proposed that she and Hailey consider presenting some kind of united front or public statement that makes clear they are not enemies, they don't need defending from each other, and that fans engaging in warfare supposedly on their behalf are not actually supporting them but rather contributing to a toxic environment that harms everyone involved. The overall tone was reportedly one of woman-to-woman solidarity, recognizing that both have been subjected to unfair scrutiny, comparison, and hatred because of their connections to the same man, and that perhaps working together they could help shift the narrative towards something healthier and more respectful. Hailey Bieber's response to Selena's outreach, according to those with knowledge of the situation, was reportedly receptive, appreciative, and indicated a willingness to explore ways they might address the toxic fan behavior together. Sources suggest that Hailey has long been frustrated and hurt by the constant comparisons to Selena, the accusations that her relationship is somehow less valid or that Justin settled for her, and the general toxicity that has surrounded her marriage from the beginning through no fault of her own. Being approached directly by Selena with empathy and a collaborative spirit rather than hostility or competition was apparently both surprising and relieving for Hailey, who has reportedly felt trapped in a narrative knot of her making and unsure how to escape it without making things worse. The two women apparently engaged in an extended conversation that covered not just the immediate Justin situation but the broader dynamics of how their lives have been affected by fan culture, media speculation, and the impossible standards and narratives imposed on women in the public eye, particularly when those women have any connection to the same man. Both reportedly expressed frustration with how their agencies, personhood, and individual identities have been reduced to their relationships with Justin, as if their entire worth and life stories revolve around this one man rather than their own accomplishments, growth, and separate identities. The conversation apparently touched on the unfairness of women being pitted against each other constantly while men move through relationships without facing the same level of scrutiny or judgment. While details of what specific actions they might take going forward remain private and undecided, sources indicate that both women left the conversation feeling heard, understood, and hopeful that they might be able to work together to shift the narrative in a healthier direction that benefits not just them but all women who have been subjected to similar toxic comparisons and competition narratives. The broader implications of Selena and Hailey potentially working together to address toxic fan behavior and media narratives extend far beyond just their personal situation and could represent a significant shift in how celebrity relationship drama is handled and discussed in popular culture. For years, the entertainment industry and fan culture have thrived on creating and perpetuating conflicts between women, particularly when those women have been romantically connected to the same Man, this pattern is so common it has a name, the love triangle narrative that positions women as rivals competing for male attention and validation. These narratives generate clicks, engagement, and endless content for gossip sites and entertainment channels, but they do so at the cost of perpetuating harmful stereotypes about women being catty, competitive, and defined primarily by their relationships with men. If Selena and Hailey can successfully present a united front that rejects this narrative and demands that fans and media treat them as complete individuals rather than competitors in some imagined contest, it could influence how similar situations are handled by other celebrities and potentially begin shifting fan culture toward healthier patterns of engagement. Mental health professionals and advocates have long criticized the toxic aspects of celebrity fan culture, particularly the warfare between fan bases that treats real people like characters in a drama existing solely for entertainment purposes. The willingness of Selena and Hailey to directly address this toxicity rather than ignoring it or playing into it could serve as a model for how public figures might reclaim their narratives and set boundaries around what kind of discussion and behavior is acceptable. It also sends an important message about female solidarity and the recognition that women don't have to be enemies just because they've been romantically involved with the same person at different times in their lives. This situation offers an opportunity for fans to examine their own behavior and participation in toxic dynamics, to consider whether their support is actually helpful or harmful, and to evolve toward more mature and respectful ways of engaging with the public figures they admire. Here's what we want to know from you. Do you think it's powerful and mature that Selena reached out to Hailey directly to address this situation, or do you think she should have just stayed out of it entirely? If the two women do present some kind of united front or public statement, will that actually change fan behavior and media coverage, or is the toxicity too entrenched to shift? Have you ever participated in comparing these two women or defending one against the other, and if so, how does this revelation make you feel about that behavior? Let's have an honest, mature conversation in the comments about female solidarity, toxic fan culture, and how we can all do better in how we engage with and discuss celebrities.